Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today we're going to restore a Corgi police car. This car was made in 1959, therefore making it 60 years old. Man, that's in darn good shape for being 60 years old. But anyways, so I saw this car on eBay quite a while back, and I said, you know, I'm going to try this. So I picked it up, and it took me a while to get what I needed for it, especially the tires. All the tires were dry rotted and cracked up, but once I found a source where I could get them from, which I believe was Australia, we went ahead and got those and had them delivered so we could continue the build. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get started on restoring this bad boy.
It's time to start the autopsy.
I already drilled out the posts. And it's a pretty good sized car. But I figured it'd be a little bit different than doing a Matchbox or a HotWheels or something like that. Plastic's in good shape. Now the dome light on top is all bleached out from the sun or whatever and all worn out. We're going to have to do the best we can to figure out a way to fix that. Now the interior, man, how cheap and flimsy can you get? This is just horrible. I've got a friend who's got a 3D printer, and eventually I'm going to get with him and have him make me one to replace these. Here's the inside of the base. It's actually got suspension that works pretty darn good. Now we'll have to paint up the bottom. Yeah, all those tires are all broken and dry rotted and just real nasty. The inside here looking pretty nasty, but I think I got in there with a toothbrush and some soap and water and scrubbed it up a little bit, and it turned out pretty good, so there was no issues. Let's pour on the center strip and get rid of 60 years of paint. Cover it up really good, inside and out. We'll let that set for a bit, and then once we get it out, then we'll continue on with the painting. Since we're not painting this in Spectre Flame and the body wasn't in that bad a shape, we just cleaned it up really good. Ran the Scotch-Brite pad over it just a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and start painting. Try and get your hard-to-reach areas first, inside where your lights are and your fender wells. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. We're doing this car up with some paints from the Redline shop. It's going on really nice. Yeah, when I first saw this car, I said, you know, I really like to restore one of these. Take your time. Make sure you get all the areas covered. Just don't saturate it too bad because you don't want to get all kinds of runs and drips in it and everything. Let's move on. Well, about 24 hours after we did the whole car in black, now we're going to do the sides of the car in white so we have it all taped up. Make sure your tape's down secure so you don't have any areas where the paint can bleed under. And when you put your coats down, don't put them down too heavy and spray straight onto the tape because you don't want that paint to leach up underneath. I found a little place that was creeping up there. It's starting to look better already. Tell you what though, for being 60 years old, this car was in pretty darn good shape. Eventually I'll have my friend come in and redo the interior. I'll send it to him, have him print up some new ones on his 3D printing machine. That'll be cool. Just make sure you get all your areas. Just don't build up the paint too thick either, because once you remove your tape, you don't want that heavy tape line there. That's looking good. All right. We did a good job covering that up. We went ahead and removed the tape, and this is what we got. Now later on we're going to have to go in and detail the front and the back, the chrome bumpers and around the headlights and stuff like that, and the taillights. Looking nice. We got some decals to put on the doors. Had my friend Kenny Terry at kennyterry.com. He made me these decals. I sent him the picture that I wanted, and he got right back to me really quick and said, okay, here you go. And they fit and matched perfectly, and they looked even better than the old ones. We're going ahead and put down a layer of micro set. Here we go. Put the decal in the water for about 15 to 20 seconds at the most, and just slide it into place. Now the micro set helps the decal conform to any contours in the car. Once we got it in place, then we're going to use this Q-tip and blot out some of the excess moisture, and the micro set will help it fit inside the little grooves on the sides of the doors and around complex curves and like that. It actually tends to melt the decal material a little bit, but you don't want to keep putting that stuff on there or moving it around, because eventually that decal is going to get soft and it's going to start to melt, and if you keep moving it around, it's just going to disintegrate on you. That looks nice. There you go. Now once we finish putting all the decals on, then we're going to go ahead and give it a clear coat. Here we're replacing those old tires. With these old ones here, look how dry rotted, and they're really hard and stiff too. We painted the base already, so that was pretty cool. Got to be patient with these tires. Sometimes if you put them in a bowl of hot water, it'll help you install them a little bit easier. It softens up the tires temporarily. Yeah, I didn't soak these tires like I was talking about. I should have, but just be careful. Take your time. You don't want to bend the axle or the rim or anything like that. Looking good. It took me quite a while to find the source for these tires. Like I said, I think I had these sent from Australia, but later on, figures no sooner than after I got them, I found a place in the United States where I could get them too. There's your suspension. That works pretty good. The car overall is pretty darn good. The only bad thing about the car was this cheesy interior. It's just, I don't know, it's just nasty. I went ahead and filled the dome full of red paint. I think I actually stuck a red paint marker down in there, and it turned out pretty good. Detailed the front, detailed the back.
Lies! Lies! Do you hear me? You're my creation! Ah!
And this is what we started with. This old Corgi police car made in 1959. It's definitely tired, for sure. Now the decals I had made aren't as big as the old ones, but they still look pretty darn good for what we had to deal with. I didn't want them that big. They were just oversized, and they just looked pretty bad. But we went through, we took it apart, we cleaned it, we painted it, we replaced the tires, we polished up the glass, we colored back in the dome light, and we put new decals on the car. And it looks fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and do our reveal. And this is how it turned out. Man, look at that. What a huge difference. That turned out fantastic. I'm very, very pleased with the way this turned out. Like I said, we got new tires all the way around, new shoes. We got new decals on there. Glass has been polished. We got a new layer of paint. The police bubble on top looks good. The details in the front and the back, that looks fantastic. Now, there was a gentleman who's a subscriber, him and his son, who watched the page religiously. And I sent them one of my cars that I did in one of my videos earlier. And they were so appreciative that they sent me this police patch that he actually wore on duty and this police coin. And I wanted to say thank you to the gentleman and his son for being such loyal subscribers and watching the videos and everything. It's very humbling to me, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sending me these goodies, and I'll treasure them always. Thank you so much. So I was kind of waiting for the video here for this police car to announce that you had sent me this patch and the coin, and I want to thank you so much. They have both already taken up restoration of cars themselves, and they call me occasionally or send me messages occasionally to go ahead and ask questions on how to do these restorations and customizing tips, and I'm happy to answer. Thank you so much again. Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We've got a lot more videos coming up in the future, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for joining me here today. If there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments. Thank you, and cheers.